Saturday, June 17th, 2017. Checking things out at Freestone. I hadn't been here much this week because we've got things going on in so many places, but they started skidding and putting up wood here yesterday. This wood is so tall, and it's out there mixed in that beautiful white pine regeneration. And we're going to have to shorten it up when we skid it so that it doesn't do so much damage when it comes whipping around corners. And so to do that, we're cutting 1 or 2 logs off the butt, which is the bottom of the tree, and skidding those in separately, 1 or 2 at a time, and piling them up with the skidder there. And then the tops are therefore shorter in tree length form. And we'll haul those to Big Fork tree length and finish cutting up there, and then those logs will also go to Big Fork and are ready to go right into the mill, which is kind of exciting. So let's take a look and see what it looks like out here in the area that they first started skidding, and how much of this regen we have to wipe out to do it. There were some pretty established skid trails in here from the 3 previous times that we've thinned this. There's a nice white pine, and we're trying to be very careful not to do much of that. That little bit isn't going to hurt too much, but to scar up, quite a few square inches is a problem. That's a dandy tree right there. That's going to be well protected, no problem on that one. Tangled mass of tops and limbs these great big pine trees have, and hardwoods too for that matter, which is one of the appeals of the J&A crew that is contracting with us up at Wolf Lake Camp right now, because we get something out of this in terms of biomass and revenue via biomass through their chipper. However, that means you got to pull this whole top from here to there and have a lot of room to process it. And this way we're able to just knock the limbs off out here in the woods, and it's a lot better skidding. So far looking really good. Also at Freestone, this spot is quite a bit different than the previous spot I just showed you right over there along the county road. Here we didn't get enough sunlight, and when we underplanted, or thinned and then underplanted with white pine and didn't open up the canopy nearly enough the first or second times, we lost every white pine tree in here. They kind of kept coming back naturally, and we kept bud capping them, but they never amounted to anything, and I don't see any evidence of any of them here anymore after many hours of working on it. So anyway, we lost it, but it's not a total loss, because we left a lot of red pine, and now we get to harvest that and get some great product out of it. A lot of maple grew back in its place, and that'll become pulpwood now. We cut all the maple on this thinning. There we got quite a bit of birch, natural regeneration, of course. That is the same age as what the white pine that we planted would have been, and that's looking really good. And we protected that, and we've saved it. We'll prune that up and get the process started of turning that into fabulous saw logs. There's a nice young oak over there that's in that age class. We've saved that. We'll prune that up. We left that mature oak there, which I marked as a seed source, and that will throw quite a few acorns. And then we've left whatever good healthy white pine mature and semi-mature that we have, like that beauty right there. nestled in amongst the red pine. And that'll throw a lot of seed. So in this spot now, we're going to get, for regeneration, we're going to get natural white pine, we're going to get natural red oak, a little bit of bur oak from this bur oak tree that was left, birch, although it's not ideal spot for birch, but if we get some nice birch mixed in, we'll keep it. We won't get much red pine in here. We just don't get much for natural red pine seeding. If you don't plant it, it just doesn't seem to grow back. So that's fine. We got plenty of areas that are planted in red pine, and then the scattered natural red pine regen that we get is enough. We'd rather have the white pine. At least I'd rather have the white pine. Anyway, pretty exciting future site. It's going to be a lot of work, because once you get the regeneration established, then you have to manage it. But if you're going to own the land for the purposes of growing timber, you might as well grow quality timber. And starting with a lot of regen gives you a chance to control that process right from the start, something we didn't do 30 and 50 and 75 years ago, but we're doing it now. Here's a little side story at Freestone, up against our neighbor's very nice place here with the pasture and riding area. Anyway, here's a small red pine plantation. I don't know the age. Did that surprise you, Ivor? You didn't know he was there, did you? But anyway, I marked this for Ross to thin, Ross being the feller buncher operator. And he made a really good judgment here. He took one strip right out of the middle of this kind of long and narrow. I shouldn't call it really long because it's a small area, but anyway, it was longer than it was narrow. So he just took a strip out of the middle and then reached in to the sides, and he took out the poorest and left the best. And now I'll send Ethan and his crew back over here to prune this up before we forget. Skids are laid out nicely so that when they pull that wood out and through here, they'll do as little damage to these residual trees as possible. So now we've got a small red pine stand that's in quality management rather than being forgotten. So when we're in these spots, we have to take the time to reach in here and do something with them. So I appreciate Ross doing a good job here, and I'm glad for myself that I took the time to make this decision, and it's all going to work as long as we get over here and do the pruning now.